Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one lined up for you today. We are going to check out Australia Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF, maybe coming soon there. That's exciting. We're also going to talk about Rosalind Layton, Rosalind Layton has written another incredible article about the war on crypto from Gary Gensler, and you're going to want to know about it because she says it's all about his resume. FATF is back on the scene with guidelines for DeFi, and not really anyone is liking it. So we're going to check that out. But guess what else we got? We got Brad Garlinghouse from the Middle East laying it down for you. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove, and everything we're talking about here today. It is October 29th, 2021, 2.94% up on the cryptocurrency market cap, sitting at $2.67 trillion right now. Bitcoin is $62,000 plus. Come on in. Ethereum $4,400 plus and screaming out the gate today. Cardano $2.02 starting to move, and Solana back over $200, and XRP is at 108 this morning. Let's take a look quickly at the price range. And again, Fiat Link, where are we at here? Somebody on a smoke break? We got to get this together. Where's the trade volume, man? I don't understand what's happening here. 107.92 is what they got, and they say 104.25 on the low side and 108.62. Pretty tight trading range right now. Numbers are brought to you by Link2. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're an accredited investor, nobody does it better than Link2.com. It's private investing made simple, and they've got Ripple, baby. But for how long? Tick, tock, goes the clock. It won't last long. If you're accredited, you better get in there and get some, because you know how it goes. It's a very, very quick moving product right there. So look right here. Let's get started. We got a lot to go over, and we want to hear that Brad Garlinghouse interview. It's got some great stuff in it. Bitcoin and Ethereum satisfy criteria for launching exchange-traded products, which are like ETFs in Australia, including exchange-traded funds, local regulators say. Doesn't look like the rest of the world's having a problem with all of this, just the U.S. And that's exciting. Let's take the positive from it. Metaverse tokens are soaring on Facebook's rebrand news. Well, listen, I was in Decentraland when it was 3 cents, and that's a metaverse, and there's many others out here, and they do cite this, but Facebook is now called Meta. Mark Zuckerberg announced Thursday big tech giant has rebranded to focus on the metaverse. Metaverse tokens like Decentraland's Mana token and Axie Infinity's AXS have reacted positively to the news. And it says metaverse is popularly used to refer to the next iteration of the internet, where users will be able to interact, play games, socialize, and exchange value with others within virtual worlds. It's often used interchangeably, with the term Web 3, or Web 3.0. Look, let's look right here, because we got to touch on this at least once in every video here, because we can't let off the gas. Okay, Ethereum received a unique advantage going forward. And this says it really well here, too. Stephen W. Huber says, meanwhile, in decentralized Ethereum land, sarcasm, you have exactly 12 hours left to upgrade your client to our latest version, or they will be a hefty penalty. What the F? My validator is at my parents' place. In this thread, it says, who actually set this deadline? Did it just come out of the ether? You know, if it's so decentralized, right, what is all of this? Look, we went over this morning's video, and I'm not going to get my needle stuck here, but I just want to remind you from Digital Asset Investor here, the original guy, the original Ethereum advisor who came up with the way to evade and circumvent U.S. law and regulations was Stephen Nareyoff, I guess is how you say it, and he's now serving time in jail for a different problem, for a cryptocurrency extortion scheme. So it almost, you could say, it really took a criminal mind to do what they've done. But let's listen to this very short clip here I have of Stuart Alderati, and I covered all the highlights from that interview yesterday. Great conversation with Adam Sterling here. But listen to what his reference is. This is a high-paid legal advisor, lawyer. I mean, this guy is really breaking it down as really as ground level as it gets for all of us to understand the approach of the SEC and their creepy white panel van approach.
Which is unfortunate. But let's talk about the Coinbase thing for a minute. So I don't know enough about the Lend product to opine on it, but this is what I hear Coinbase complaining about. They say the SEC says, come on in, talk to us. The water's safe. So you go in and you talk to them. And then rather than having a conversation, and I assume Coinbase hired the best lawyers to advise them on the Lend product and how to get it right. So you go in and have that conversation, you have your best securities lawyers with you. And rather than entering into a dialogue with the SEC about what the SEC may think you have wrong and how you can fix it, it turns into a secret inquisition. It turns into an investigation. I call it the creepy white panel van approach to enforcement. Once you take the bait, you're in, you're trapped, and you can't get out. And that's regulation by enforcement at its worst.
And that really sums it up right there. I mean, he goes on to lay it out. But if you think of this for a moment, do you think for an instant that this is an accident, that Gary Gensler's attacking two of the largest companies in this space, two of the largest leaders in this space, Coinbase and Ripple? I don't think so at all. And this problem only gets bigger. And I hope that as it gets bigger, we can all unite, because this is a great article. It was first shared to me by James Rule XRP. Shout out to you, my friend. And this is really a Forbes article here with Rosalind Layton, who has been following this story and actually was following the story and broke a bit of this story, citing DAI and myself in articles that she had written about this before Gasparino got in. And I hope that it continues to get bigger on a mainstream media level here. But she says SEC Chair Gensler's war on crypto is about his resume. Ooh, we need to be tagging as many people as possible here. And if you notice, I tagged half of Congress. And when we get major articles, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to continue to tag half, if not all of Congress. And we need to retweet it. We need this to be a congressional issue, ladies and gentlemen. And the only way to do that is to have our voice be so big and so loud we cannot be denied. I'm going to get to the end of this article where it really gets heavy here for a second. And we know what the story is with Gensler, and that he came from MIT. And we all thought that he would come here with the knowledge in hand to be able to sort this space out without picking winners and losers through enforcement, through litigation, right? So take a listen to this last part of this article here from Rosalind Layton here. All of these exceptions seem rooted in making the lack of regulatory clarity a Rorschach test of convenient self-serving theories. It lets Ito, who was a original funder of MIT, right, argue for keeping altcoins outside of the community architecture while letting Ethereum get a regulatory pass. Gensler gets to lord over the regulatory realm while bolstering his party credentials with flashy enforcement actions that deliver him to his next job, the Treasury Secretary. We know that he was the chair of the CFTC. We know he's now at the SEC. And ultimately, she's saying here, as we've talked about on this channel, the ultimate end goal for him is to be the U.S. Treasury Secretary and fill Janet Yellen's spot at some point. Not all is well at MIT, however. While Gensler is golden, Ito took the fall for revelations that the MIT lab was financed in part by, wait for it, Jeffrey Epstein and Leon Black, who was at Apollo at the time and had to step down. And then after that, Jay Clayton came in. Moreover, investors are revolting against the SEC on his last day in 2020. Clayton, in the name of investor protection, filed a $1.3 billion enforcement action against Ripple, claiming that XRP has been unregistered security since 2013, and everyone should have known. The case has become an embarrassment for the agency, putting the SEC itself on trial for its arbitrary determinations and absurd take on due process. Over 50,000 outraged XRP holders have filed a class action lawsuit claiming the agency tanked their holdings. Gensler refuses to engage the retail crypto investors he claims to be defending and is incoherent. Everything crackdown on the U.S. financial marketplace only strengthens the idea that his war on crypto is about furthering his career, not what's best for investors, the economy, or innovation. Rosalind Layton, you put this down. Oh my goodness. Please retweet this article, ladies and gentlemen. It is incredible. Shout out to you, Rosalind, and anything we can do to help bring light to this, you just let us know. My DM is open. SEC on the verge of cracking down on $131 billion stablecoin market? Say it isn't so, ladies and gentlemen, but here it is. SEC Chair Gary Gensler has likened stablecoins to poker chips in the casinos of the Wild West crypto industry, and he wants to be the cop on the beat when it comes to stablecoins, just like we know that Rostin Benham, who is now saying that the CFTC wants to be and has been the cop on the beat when it comes to crypto and 60% of the market, which really leans into the idea of Bitcoin and Ethereum and their market cap against the total market cap, right? So this gets very interesting at how this is going to shake out, but at least we have a second voice in this dialogue now, and not just Gary Gensler. Now that Rostin Benham's there, he's going to have to really stand up and start to show his full position for the CFTC as well. And maybe we'll start to figure out our own clarity, even if we don't get it from Gary Gensler, no matter how many times we ask for it. The FATF on an international level has released new guidelines that include DeFi and NFTs. But the community is not exactly pleased, and that's for sure. You take a look at this, and honestly, on an international level, or whether it's a regional level in your country, my country, it doesn't matter. The DeFi world is really a tough road to hoe here. I mean, that's what we're learning, right? And it says here, it isn't surprising that the FATF guidance aims to increase its regulatory oversight and bringing the cryptocurrency industry in congruence with traditional finance. How many times have we talked about that since it's been a long time coming? The message is loud and clear, but what irks some community members was when the international body touched on the subject concerning DeFi and NFTs. And it goes on to say here, according to the published document, the creators, owners, and operators, or any individuals who maintain influence in the DeFi arrangements, may be required to abide by the rules set by the watchdog on NFTs. Guidance detailed that these tokens are included in the FATF definition of virtual assets. However, regardless of the terminology, FATF rules may still apply to NFTs. The DeFi community was far from being pleased in the latest guidance. Miller Whitehouse Levin, the policy director of the recently established DeFi Education Fund, criticized the FATF clarification on DeFi in his tweet. And it's a very long, lengthy tweet, but it's certainly meaningful. But what I just sum up for you is this, is that at some point, and I've said this about DeFi for sure, is that, you know, what we saw in Wyoming with the registrations of DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, is that you're going to have to tie a person or persons from an LLC to those DeFi platforms, so there is some form of accountability should something go wrong in any manner. I don't actually have a problem with that portion of it, you know, because you never know what things are structured for, and there's always somebody out here looking to do wrong. However, I don't want to see the kind of regulation that comes into play that stifles innovation, and I don't think having accountability is stifling innovation. Now, anything beyond that, and I'm on your side. Look right here, Mastercard is a reminder here to develop for a network for central bank digital currency payments, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Who else is working with CBDCs? Oh, that's right, Ripple and the private ledger to launch those CBDCs on. And MasterCard's developing a network for CBDC payments that'll be front end and maybe even back end. This, to me, is exciting. There are things coming and we just don't know when, but it is obvious they are coming. Here's more evidence of that right here. French central bank completes central bank digital currency bonds pilot. Now, I'm not going to go back into this because we covered it when it came out, but this is a reminder here of just how quickly it's moving, even if your portfolio isn't, right? Things are moving quickly here. The adoption, the move to this new Internet of Value, Web 3.0, however you want to phrase it, metaverse, all of this is coming to us in a very, very quick way. We're going to blink an eye 3 to 5 years from now, and we're not going to recognize what's going on. I really do feel like that's going to happen. But we know that France did over 500 transactions during that CBDC pilot, and it went extremely, extremely well. Now let's get right here because we got a great conversation with Brad Garlinghouse while in the Middle East, and he's got some great things to say about Ripple, XRP, and NFTs. Let's take a listen here. And by the way, shout out to Calculated Risk for posting this video. It's where I saw it. So let's take a listen to this. Pretty good hang here.
Okay, in its attempt to streamline cross-border payments, Ripple is using crypto to cut down on costs through a new product called on-demand liquidity. Our Yusuf Gamaleddin joins us now from Riyadh with the company's CEO. Yusuf.
Yeah, Tom, I mean, we are cutting through a very busy schedule here in downtown Riyadh, but it is all about some of these new innovations. And the peer-to-peer powered cryptocurrency Ripple is part of that bigger conversation that we're about to have with the CEO who joins us here. Of course, that is Brad Garlinghouse. Thanks for coming on the show, Brad.
Thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
The turnout here is just nothing short of astounding. What kind of conversations have you had? What kind of deals have you been able to sign?
Well, I totally agree. The energy here, the entrepreneurial energy, particularly in a maybe almost a post-COVID world. So we've had amazing engagement here at FII with existing customers, with potential customers. It's really just been a profound experience for me so far.
So what additional momentum have you been able to build into the Ripple growth story? Have you been able to come to any new agreements? Because a lot of the cross-border payments, the big channels come through this part of the world.
It's really true. I mean, this is a major centerpiece of remittance networks, and certainly the immigrant populations here in the Middle East, and certainly here in the kingdom between India, Pakistan, the Philippines. And so, these have always been populations which pay very high fees for their remittance traffic. And what we're focused on is bringing those down. The Middle East has been one of our fastest growing regions. We've grown network activity for Ripple-enabled payments 5x year on year here in the Middle East. It's our fastest growing region. And I think it really is only just getting started because it is such a center point, as you described.
What stood out to you in the last couple of months in terms of the adoption of some of the cryptocurrencies? We've had a pretty impressive rally in Bitcoin again, but it's kind of trickled through the wider crypto space. What would you take away from that?
Well, I take a macro long-term view. It's very clear that where we've started maybe almost 10 years ago with crypto really being a fringe and edge case, and where it's now become mainstream. The number of people who are holding crypto globally continues to grow very, very quickly. And the believers in how we can use these technologies for real benefit, not for just the speculative dynamics associated with those who may speculate as investors, what have you. But really, as Ripple is using, these technologies can dramatically improve the efficiency of things like cross-border payments. And those today can be very inefficient by speed and cost, and we can make them real-time and very inexpensive.
How does that fit in with some of the goals that have been announced at FII around net zero for Saudi Arabia? It's going to be 2060. There have been concerns about energy usage with some of the cryptocurrencies. Run me through what the thinking is at Ripple.
Well, for Ripple, that is also kind of the heart of how we think about success. One of the things that has helped XRP, the digital asset that's native to our technology stack, is it's extremely energy efficient. While I'm a believer in crypto at large, I'm certainly a believer in Bitcoin, the energy consumption associated with Bitcoin is profoundly bad. It's 120 terawatts. This is equivalent to the total energy production or consumption of the country of Argentina. So, I do think it's something that we have to address and solve and be cognizant of. One of the things that has been very good for Ripple's direction of travel, and certainly our momentum going into 2022, has been the fact that XRP is about almost 1 million times more energy efficient than a Bitcoin transaction.
What about regulation?
Almost 1 million times? Damn!
What are you hearing? Could that come quite soon, would you say?
Well, again, I think if you step back and look at a macro level, the direction of travel for regulation globally has been very positive for crypto. I've been in this industry about 7 years, and if you would have told me 7 years ago that you'd have countries like the UAE here in the Middle East, but certainly Switzerland and the UK, Japan, Singapore, these are all leading G20 markets that have clear regulations around crypto, and it's allowing the industry to thrive in those markets, and you're seeing more growth. And I think you're going to continue to see that going into 2022.
The US would have fallen behind then in your assessment? A lot of catching up to do?
Without question. Surprisingly, given where so much of the entrepreneurial activity in crypto has been US-based, the US has kind of been a laggard in crypto regulation.
Listen very carefully to what he says here.
Hasn't been a level of clarity that the US did enable in enabling the internet growth in the late 90s. And so I think we're still hoping for that. And I think actually you'll see progress over the next 12 to 18 months in the United States that should help. And you're seeing more.
I think you're going to see progress over the next 12 to 18 months that should help. Well, I tell you what I'd love to know what Brad Garlinghouse knows. And this guy, you talk about a glass half full guy. This guy's glass half full. He's getting sued by the SEC, and he's seeing clearly 12 to 18 months from now, I think the U.S. is really going to change that, flip the script when it comes to not being a leader in this space. That is extremely promising to me.
More of a call to action from Congress to act.
And there it is right there. More of a call to action for Congress to act. And it tells me that he believes that somewhere in that time span that maybe we will actually see Congress get something done. How about that for a notion? Shout out to Brad Garlinghouse on that.
One of the fronts that you've opened is a new fund that aims to help creators around NFT, $250 million worth. Which marketplaces are you going to partner
Listen to this.
Well, certainly we think of NFTs as a major expansion and opportunity around crypto broadly. Enabling whether it's artists, musicians, but even other industry enablement. On the stage earlier today, one of my fellow panelists, a guy named Mike Novogratz, was talking about the use of NFTs to actually manage your health records. The point there is really that NFTs, I think, can be an element of how we manage data rights, and artists obviously love it because they can take out some of that middleman and go direct to consumers. I think we're just getting started, and over the next 5 years, the expansion of NFTs is going to bring more people into crypto at large, and you're going to see the market grow dramatically.
Brad, terrific catching up.
How about that? That's exciting to me just because of what it can do. And it is such great points that he's making about the NFTs. And I was just listening to something the other day, and I meant to pull the clip so we could hear it yesterday. And maybe I'll find it for tomorrow's video, but it was Gary Vaynerchuk, who's amazing, big fan of him, who was saying the same thing about NFTs. And we've talked about it here, how it's going to bring the power back, especially in the music industry, cut out the middleman between the artist and the fans will literally be able to earn royalties with the artists themselves. Now, how about that for being a super fan? Look, this is a really great conversation with Brad Garlinghouse, and things are looking up, even though we're stuck, price is stuck, things aren't moving. We got to look ahead at the things that will take place, and it looks like maybe over the next 12 to 18 months, we may see some kind of legislation, albeit the Token Taxonomy Act or the Securities Clarity Act, maybe both of those things, or something else that gets the job done to really put the agencies back in their own lanes and to clear up the confusion so there actually is clarity instead of someone like Gary Gensler just saying it by himself. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. Make sure you check out all the links in the description box and the comment section. They're great products and services I use each and every day, and they are trusted, vetted links. And there's great specials and deals, but you got to click the links. I'll catch all of you on the next one.